here we go.
Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a Cummins turbo diesel and I have a Hemi. Now I've done some comparisons saying which one was better than the other, and today we're going to compare fuel mileage. Now I'm going to do the exact same routes. I'm going to show you the 0 to 60 acceleration and just kind of give you an idea and the basis point of which truck is better. Let's get into the video.
Really quickly, be sure to subscribe to JB Reviews and make sure you have those bell notifications on. And be sure to check out my other channel, Attainable Exotic Cars. Now let's get back to the video.
We are going to start the test first with the Hemi. Now this Hemi is going to be a 6.4 liter and it is going to be good for 410 horsepower, 429 pound-feet of torque. This specific truck is optional with a 410. This truck does have that 410, so that's going to give it max acceleration and max tow. And this is going to be mated to an 8-speed transmission. It's going to be an 8 HP 75. It's a ZF transmission, which is a German company. So I do like this setup. I think it's perfect for someone who's not towing a lot but still needs a heavy-duty truck. Stepping over to the Cummins turbo diesel, this is going to be what they call the standard Cummins. This is a 6.7 liter. It's going to be good for 370 horsepower, 850 pound-feet of torque. So the Hemi does have more horsepower, but it can't touch the Cummins when it comes down to torque. And that's kind of what you need going up grades. But all in all, this is only available with the 373 if you get this single rear wheel. And it does have a 6-speed transmission, so the Hemi kind of has a beat there. But one thing you have to take note of is diesels are great at getting good fuel mileage over the Hemi, and that's basically because of the fuel that it uses. Diesel, it just takes it a little bit more time for it to burn, which means it's going to give you increased fuel economy. And this engine is really good for longevity, so if you do plan on towing 50-60,000 miles a year, it's a no-brainer to get this option here. But as I mentioned, let's go ahead and take the Hemi on the road first and see what kind of fuel mileage it's going to get.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and drive the Ram 2500 Hemi. Man, I love these 2500s. I always say this in every video, but it just never gets old. And it's so hot today too. It's 100 degrees. It has just been so hot in Maryland these last couple weeks. So this should be a good test for that too. I gotta reset the fuel mileage once we do the 0 to 60. When I do that 0 to 60 run, I'll reset it, and then that way we'll get a good number for the MPG. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get better in the Cummins, but it's still a good test just to see how far off it will be. But 8-speed transmission, and it's pretty responsive too. I love the sound that the 6.4 Hemi makes. Sounds like a strong burly V8, and I mean the power that you get out of this thing, I mean you can definitely feel it. It comes on strong, you know. And having a 410 axle, that's a big deal, you know. Having that one option, I mean it does give you max tow, but it's going to help with acceleration. I do wish that they did give you an option for maybe a 430 like Ford does, but you know, who are we to say that we want something? The manufacturers, that when they gear these trucks, when they tune them, they do everything pretty much for a reason, and I'm sure that's why they chose to go with a 410 over going up to like a 430. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna get up here in a little bit. I'm gonna do a 0 to 60 run, and like I said, like later on I'll reset the fuel mileage, and then we'll see what kind of miles we can get out of this Hemi. I don't know if you can see that eco illuminated there, but that means the truck is using MDS, and whenever you hit the throttle, they say that it's really laggy. So let's test that out. Nope, not laggy at all. It just kind of goes.
One thing that's important to consider in this test is the curb weight of the truck. So in order to get that, you have to take the 10,000 pound gross fuel weight rating, and then you have to subtract it from this cargo carrying capacity. I call this the payload at 3,172, and that's going to give you 6,828 pounds. I did that math on a calculator earlier, so I'm not that good at math. Now let's go check out what the Cummins is going to be. So if you take a look at this one, it has the same gross fuel weight rating. payload number on this one is really low at 1,798 pounds. So this truck basically weighs 8,202 pounds on the curb. And that's in part to having a higher trim level, having a bigger cab, because this is a mega cab versus crew cab, and the Cummins motor. So those three things are going to make this truck a lot heavier than this work truck with a smaller cab and lightweight engine.
Having these smaller wheel and tires will kind of affect the acceleration, so I may have to redo this test in the future once they have more trucks. But I mean, I didn't stump on it. I mean, because it's still a new truck, I don't drop it down to the floor. I did gradually try to accelerate, but even with that, I mean, being 100 degrees outside, those tires, they just don't have any traction. So I'm pretty sure the Cummins is probably going to be really close. And you guys will probably see that in a second. But we're going to go ahead and reset the fuel mileage. Actually, I'm going to do it a little bit sooner, but I'll do it in the same spot. I'm going to do it right here. All right, here we go. I just made my U-turn, and I'm going to go ahead and get back up to 65 miles an hour. I'm doing these tests at 65 miles an hour. I have the AC on. I have it on halfway, so I'll do the same for both trucks. Let me just kind of show you guys what the temperatures are. We've been driving now for a while. I did let the trucks warm up too before we did the fuel mileage test too, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, we're back up to 65, and we're going to go in this direction. And then, like I said, I'll let you guys see the fuel mileage in a second here. All right, so here are the temperatures. So that top one is going to be for your coolant. The second one's going to be for the transmission. Third one is going to be for the oil. So that's pretty much where we are. And we've been driving for about, what, 5 minutes, 5 miles. And we're showing about 15.9 MPG there. So that's not too bad. But like I said, we still got a little bit more ways to go. We should get about 10 miles out of it. And then we'll pretty much get a good idea of the fuel mileage. One thing I like about this test is it's a good mix of city and highway driving with a good amount of grades too. Like, we're in like a lot of hilly parts of Maryland, so like this isn't flat road. So if we were in Florida or, you know, an area where they just have more flat roads, I think that you'll see a lot better fuel mileage. But I'm not really accelerating hard. I'm just driving normally today. The only acceleration we did was that 0 to 60. Actually, I did 0 to 75 just to kind of let it ring out a little bit. But for the most part, you know, the fuel mileage is kind of low right now. I was kind of expected to be a little bit higher, but yeah, I think it takes time for these engines to really break in. I think someone told me 10,000 miles is when they start to really see a little bit of a difference. I saw a difference on my Cummins, probably like around like 15,000, I would say. But for the Hemis, I'm not really sure. A lot of guys are saying 10K is about where they see the difference. When it does go into multi-displacement, when it drops down the 4 cylinders, you can hear it when it does it. It doesn't sound good, but yeah, like right now here, let me see if I can make it do it now. Okay, I hit it too hard, but nevertheless, like I said, it doesn't sound good in my opinion. But I'm at about 50 miles an hour. I'm at about 1,500 RPMs, and yeah, I mean, like I said, this truck is, not bad fuel mileage. So I mean, for the most part, I'm happy with these numbers, but I think that once the truck gets some miles on it, it'll get a little bit better. All right guys, so about 9 miles round trip, and we got 15.7 MPG. So I don't know, that's not that great in terms of mileage for a HD truck. I was hoping a little bit better, but nevertheless, I would say that 15.7 is pretty good for just cruising, because like I said, that's city and highway mix. So I would say 15.7 is a decent number overall. All right, so we're driving the Cummins now, and yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's hot, man. It's 100. right now. It was 117 when I got inside of here, and it felt like it too. I literally started drenching with sweat. I had to wipe myself off. But we're gonna go ahead and take this out. I tell you, I love the Hemi. The Hemi's a great option if you're not really doing a lot of towing, and you know, you just need a truck to do some hauling and maybe occasional tow with your camper or something like that, or your dump trailer. But I love the feel of the Cummins. I like the way it sounds. It's just something about having a diesel for me. That's why I try not to be biased on my channel, because I do love diesels. Like, if I were to buy another Ram, it's not even a question for me. It's going to be a diesel. But I feel like a lot of people are starting to have sticker shock with these diesels. That's why I'm trying to say, hey, there's nothing wrong with getting a gas truck. I mean, these trucks are expensive, by the way. You get a gas or a diesel, they're both expensive. But you get to save almost $10,000 for one of the 2500s with Ram right out of the gate by not getting this option. So I don't know, it's just something to think about. I mean, I towed with a 373 2500 Hemi, and it was great. I thought that it towed well. A 410 is only going to do better, so opting for that 410 would just really take it to another level. But we're going to go ahead and get moving here. Truck should be warmed up. I let it idle for about 5 minutes in the parking lot. Man, the amount of power and thrust you get from that Cummins is just insane. So I don't know, my pick would always be Cummins. Now, like I said, subscribe to the channel, watch my videos, and make sure you have those bell notifications on, because I would love to be able to own a Hemi one day. So maybe, you know, as my channel grows, I can just buy one for maybe 1 year and just give you guys a lot of footage on like towing and all kind of different things I can do with it. But yeah, it starts off by, you know, supporting this channel. So we're almost at the spot to do the 0 to 60, so I'm gonna go ahead and set up here, and then I'll show you guys a nice 0 pit. All right, here we go. I absolutely cannot wait to edit this footage to see which truck accelerated the quickest. I think that the Cummins felt quicker, and that's only because of the wheel slippage on the Hemi. I think I lost a little bit of speed there, and the saying goes, spinning ain't winning. And I think the Cummins took that one, so we'll see it when I edit it. But let's go ahead and reset the fuel mileage right here. I'm about to be at the spot, and that way we have a good idea of which truck actually got the best fuel economy. The biggest selling benefit to the Cummins when it comes down to fuel mileage is overwhelmingly the RPMs. And as you can see there, at 70 miles an hour, we're running just over 1500 RPM. I mean, don't get any better than that, guys. That's really good. So there's something to keep in mind when you're looking at these trucks, because that's why the diesel typically gets better fuel mileage, because it runs at such low RPMs in comparison with the Hemi. And it's so much quieter too. A lot of you guys are like, when I did my towing videos, you're like, man, that truck is screaming. And you were not lying, that truck was loud. The Hemis are loud. Any gas engine is loud when you're towing something heavy up on a steep grade, and that 6% grade is no joke. But we're about to make the U-turn up here in a second. And like I said, I'll give you guys an update on the fuel mileage in a moment, okay? So we just made the U-turn, and I wanted to mention something. One thing I love about these newer Ram trucks from 2019 and later is that 373 axle. Believe it or not, when the Rams used that 342 in the rear, I hated the off-the-line grunt and really just the acceleration overall. Like, I feel like there was like a flat spot with the Cummins. So I'm glad now they do offer a little bit higher ax ratio. They did fix that problem. A lot of guys back in the day would re-gear their trucks, especially when they were going 35 and 37 inch tires, just because I drove one with 37s on it, and it had no guts in it. It was like slow. So I'm glad they changed to a 370. I would like to see a higher ax ratio. I think Ford uses like a 355. I think they have a lower ax ratio too. I can't remember what it is. And GM uses a 342 for their diesel, However, their 10-speed transmission kind of makes up for it in the first 3 gears. So I think that Ram doing the 373, it did help a lot, especially when you just saw it accelerate just now. I feel like it has really good performance now. And here's a good comparison for the temperatures. It spells it out so you can see which one it is. So coolant's at 190, transmission is 163, 195 is the oil temp. So yeah, that's really another benefit of going Cummins too, is it has a great cooling system. It's so good that you have to use a winter front grille to like keep the engine warmer, because it will start to drop below, you know, operating temperatures. We're not quite back yet, but we're at 17.2 at 7.8 miles, 8 minutes. Like, that is really good. So it's safe to say we know who's going to win this one, but it's what? Not much, like 2 miles per gallon. Now, a lot of people say this already. If you were to delete this truck, the fuel mileage would go up substantially. I have actually a couple friends I met on my YouTube channel who, as soon as they got their Ram truck, the first thing they did was they deleted them. You know, they don't care about the emissions, they don't care about potential of losing their warranty. They just said they feel like the truck will be more reliable without the crap on there, and I kind of agree with them too. So, but that's really good miles. We're almost back here, and yeah, I'll show you guys the final number. All right, guys, there it is. 17.6 at 9.1 is 12 minutes. So the diesel definitely won that one, and we're not surprised by that.
But hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to check out Criswell, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Thurmont, Maryland. They did allow me to do this video, and if you do buy a car from them, be sure to let them know, because it does help me out and it shows that these videos are helping them too. Thank you.